Hi, we're going to talk about a cleanse I designed called the Microbe Cleanse, and I want to first explain why I believe virtually everyone can benefit from a microbe cleanse. Now, what's a microbe? We're talking fungus, yeast, mold, bacteria, mycotoxins, candida, and I'll throw parasites in that mix too. But any of these organisms that get into our body and start to create problems. And if you just think about what's going on in our world and look at our medical system and how antibiotics are handed out like candy, antifungals, almost everybody, it seems like, been on antibiotics multiple times in their lives. We have these issues going on inside of our body. Now, as I've talked about before, there's a reason that they're there. It's part of God's design. And ultimately, it's about cleansing and healing our bodies. But it's better to do this naturally because antibiotics are destroying people's lives. And there are other ways. God has given us all kinds of herbs and plants and, of course, nutrition and things that we can do to heal our bodies naturally. Now, who would need a microbe cleanse? Anybody who's dealt, even if they're not currently dealing with something now, but if you've dealt in the past with infectious related issues, reoccurring sicknesses, bronchitis, strep throat, people are getting kidney infections, urinary tract infections, yeast infections, bladder infections. You think of Lyme's disease, you think of cancer, you think anybody who's been struggling with chronic fatigue syndrome or fibromyalgia or just suffering with health-related issues and pain and inflammation for years and years and years. The body has been taken over by infectious-related organisms. Now, I want to explain the order of why I've chosen to do a microbe cleanse. Now, you can do this microbe cleanse at any time you want, but I have it kind of nestled in between a kidney cleanse and then a lymphatic cleanse. So the kidney cleanse first, then this microbe cleanse, then the lymph cleanse. Now, again, you can do a microbe cleanse and benefit from it any time, but there's a reason I chose this particular order. And the reason is because the kidneys is where fluid wastes are eliminated out of the system. All the acid waste should go out through your kidneys, and we've talked about kidney filtration and how your urine should be cloudy and stinky, and you should be having waste filtering out of your kidneys. And then the microbe cleanse is important because we have these infectious related issues going on in our body. And in some people's bodies, they're taking over their body and they're causing them to be miserable. You think of people with candida yeast issues and they got itchy eyes, ears, nose, they got brain fog, they eat sugar, they immediately react, they can't think. I mean, think about cold weather changes. And people get miserable when the weather and the seasons change. This is all due to infections in our body. So we need to knock down the infection load. We need to get parasites out of the system. We need to knock fungus and yeast out of the body. Now, you're not going to do a single cleanse, even this cleanse. You're not going to do this 21-day cleanse or somebody's candida yeast protocol cleanse and fully heal and eliminate these issues. That's the misconception. That's not a true way to look at long-term health because we actually need to change the internal health and the internal environment of the body long-term to get long-term breakthrough. Now, if we don't believe that people have infectious related issues, I'll just give you one simple example. Our daughter, who's now 3, but when she was 2, she's a normal, happy, healthy little girl. She doesn't really have any health issues. But knowing all the issues going on in our culture, our generational issues passed down through the family lines, we did a parasite cleanse on our 2-year-old daughter, and she passed worms. So anybody can have these infections. If you've ever lived with animals, spent any amount of time outside, it was normal part of life when people grew up to do parasite cleanses on a regular basis just to keep people free from infection. It was just normal back then, and now we ignore it or we pretend like it's not really an issue, and it's really a major, major issue. So we want to knock back this microbial infection. Now, ultimately what the goal is and why the next cleanse after this is the lymph and the lymphatic system is the lymph is the sewer system of the body. It's what drains all the toxic waste out of the body. It's the backup of the sewer. It's the backup of the lymphatic system and the liver that is causing these infections to have an environment and a home in which to live. So think urinary tract infections. there's an acidic environment in the urinary tract that attracts E. coli and other infectious bacteria. And these can be in the lungs, they can be in the bladder, it can be in the liver, it can be in any part of the body. And this is why we have to cleanse our bodies. This is why cleansing is so crucial to long-term health. And the most important system for that is the lymphatic system. And when that system is cleaned out, then you won't have the ability to have infections house in your body and start to reproduce and cause all of these problems. Now, the only way I know of, besides how you feel, to know that you've fully cleaned out your lymph and you've experienced a deeper level of healing is by looking in the eyes, in the iris of the eyes. You can see the white, you can see the inflammation and the acidity. You can see that in the eyes, and you can see that change as the person gets healthier and their eye color goes back to their true eye color. So that is why a microbe cleanse is important. I think everybody can benefit from it. I could give you lots of testimonials, but I've had many people who've done this microbe cleanse already and say they just feel amazing while they're on the microbe cleanse. And why would you feel amazing on a microbe cleanse? Because you have some type of microbial issue in your body, and you're killing the infection, and it's freeing up your the rest of the resources in your body to function normally. Because when you're full of infection, you're tired, you're lethargic, you're inflamed, you're in pain, you're mucousy because the body's using mucus to try to eliminate this infection, and you're just miserable. Think about when you get a really bad cold or a flu, and just think about people living that way for years and years and years with no help from the medical community, taking antibiotics, taking antifungals, not getting any long-term answers. So again, this is just one step of the process. We're going to knock back these infections, then we're going to continue to cleanse the body so that you can have long-term health, long-term healing, long-through breakthrough, and of course, that your body's functioning the way God designed it. This holy temple that God wants to be cleaned out and pure, it means getting rid of these infectious issues. God bless.